Hello, YouTube. We are still in the truck. We are still on our way to the place to do the things on a project. Yeah, doing some stuff. High-speed TSSCI stuff. Yeah, you wouldn't understand. Prosperity.com. Yeah, we're on a mission. But while we're on a mission and we're in a vehicle, I figured we'd do some more truck talks. So, Koldat. K-O-L-D-A-T-T. Koldat? I don't know how else you could say that. Say it backwards, it'd be Tatadlock. So, anyway, recently in the community section, I asked, hey, what are you guys struggling with? What are your concerns for 2019? What's up? You know, let's have a conversation. And normally I do these conversations for patrons at Patreon, but I wanted to do some YouTube stuff. And like I said, it's been a while since we've had a truck talk. So I figured I would use this time to do truck talks. Because I like them. And y'all used to like them anyway, you know. And a lot of y'all are brand new. You have no idea that we used to do all these truck talks. So now we do some more truck talks. This road sucks too, and there's like 35, 40 mile an hour sideways wind gusts, so they're making the truck do this. It's fabulous, it's tremendous, it's believe me, and just a light sprinkling of rain, just like annoying, you know, where you can't leave the windshield wipers on, but you don't really want them off either, like there's no sweet spot. Alright, so Koldat asked, staying on good terms with people before, during, and after SHTF. Okay. Now, let's understand the inherent value in that question. The reason that question, or that question, if you're a Jocko fan, is being asked is because Koldat undoubtedly understands the value of dealing with other people before, during, and after SHTF. And being on good terms with people goes a long way. I'm much more likely to help somebody that I know and care for than somebody that I don't know or don't care for. So to that end, be a high value person. Now this in of itself could be a 4-hour sermon on what a high value person is. A high value person to me is somebody that operates with honesty and integrity, that is convicted to do things that I would consider moral and ethical, not convicted to do something that is immoral or unethical, you know. And I recently got an email from a brother asking some questions like that, like how does the congregation of community work? And it's like, well, you get a lot of like-minded people in the same place, and generally speaking, they tend to all have the same religious or spiritual beliefs. And the reason for that is it's predictable. We have the same benchmarks for morality and ethical conduct because we all agree that we're going to set ourselves aside and attempt to attain this particular standard of righteousness, whatever that may be for you. But we remove ourselves as the ultimate arbiter of truth, which is unpredictable, and we all agree that this particular faith, this doctrine, this book, this whatever, this belief structure, this is the thing that we're going to set as the ultimate arbiter of truth. Okay? Now for us, for me and my people, we believe in Messiah, first and foremost. We believe that Yeshua is HaMashiach, that Jesus is the Christ, right? And salvation is only through faith, belief on his name, all right? By grace through faith. Next, we believe that obedience brings blessing, and obedience to what? Obedience to the Torah, to the law, which Moshe was given by the Father, Moses was handed by the Father, existed before that, and then Yeshua, Jesus, came and taught on afterward. So, and we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but that's our belief. And so that establishes for us what the guidelines on the playing field of life look like, right? Like, where are the lines on the field? Are we out of bounds? Are we going forward? Are we going backwards? Like, what's the deal, man? Well, we know what the deal, man, is because we have, regardless of whether or not some might consider it archaic, we have benchmarks to measure ourselves against. And so being a high value person, part of that is understanding what the benchmarks that you will be valued against are. Honesty, integrity, do what you say you're going to do. Show up at least on time, if not early. Don't complain. Do what you say you're going to do. I don't know if I already said that or not. I might have just said it. But do what you say you're going to do. Perform, right? Under promise, over deliver. Do not over promise, under deliver. You need to perform. Be dependable. Your word, this is why it talks about, in Exodus, it talks about taking the Lord's name in vain and making oaths, right? And what it's saying there is, you don't need to make this giant oath on the name of Yahweh that I will do all that I say. And no, your word, just the fact that you say you're going to do it, that is what matters, right? You should be so well known that when you say, yes, sir, I'll be there, that it's unequivocal that, yes, sir, you will be there. There's no question, right? So being a high value person, of somebody who operates with honesty and integrity and does what they say they're gonna do, that goes a long way towards staying on good terms with the people that are around you. And it would be good for you to, whether you agree or not, to at least understand what the people around you value as the benchmarks for ethical conduct and morality, so that you understand the framework that you're going to be expected to play within. Does that make sense? Sweet. Okay, moving on. You should have useful skills, and you should use them. Mostly the latter part. Because I know lots of people who are really good at lots of things who don't do a damn thing with their skills, giftings, talents, and abilities. Well, it's like having that rifle that you bought for when the zombie apocalypse happens, man, that you never zeroed, you never put a round through, and it's still laying in the box or the case underneath your bed. Doesn't matter if you have it, if you can't use it, if you don't use it. So, should you have the thing? Yup. Should you know how to use the thing? Yup. Should you have the skills? Yes. Should you use them? Why the hell else would you have them if not to use them? This is a common thing that I brush up against in our consulting, the consulting work that we do, is that people have these giftings and talents and they're just not sure what to do. Use your giftings and talents. Operate from positions of strength. Be where you are. You are here. Good. Start doing. Well, what should I do? What are you good at? And briefly, this is another topic for another time, but what do you do? What should I do with my life, T? Okay, it's 3 overlapping circles. One is what you like to do. One is what you're knowledgeable about, and one is what you're good at. Like to do, knowledgeable, good at. Where those 3 circles overlap, that's your sweet spot. And if there's something that checks all 3 of those boxes, I like to do it, I know a lot about it, and I'm good at it, that's your thing, man. That's what you do. Where do I do it? Where you are, until you get to some other place where you want to be. But start here. Where do I start? You're here. Start here. But I really want to be over there. Good. Well, that's going to require momentum. How do you get from here to there? You got to start moving. How do you move? By starting here and doing that thing that checks all 3 of those boxes. So, to that end, again, a different talk for a different time. But if you have if you're knowledgeable about something and you like to do it, but you're not particularly good at it, well, you could fix that. Just do more of it, right? The clincher is whether or not you like to do it. To me, I don't think you should do something that you don't like to do, even if you're good at it and knowledgeable about it. Because you don't want to, that takes away from a position of strength. You don't want to be miserable in the doing of, okay? But getting back to skills, what are useful skills? Man, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, carpenter, plumber, trade skills. Pretty much any trade skills are usable, are applicable. Agricultural skills, security skills, I mean, I think where you see a lot of people ragging on particular skill sets are with the electronics, communications, and information technologies industries. Well, it would be SHTF, man. There won't be any of that. Bro, it depends on what SHTF looks like. Because down in Panama City, Florida, immediately after Hurricane Michael, when the first responders didn't even have comms for 2 weeks, FirstNet was down, I would have killed somebody if I could get my hands on a decent network technician or somebody who was an infrastructure guy with a cell phone company. Yeah, send me your IT people. I need them, right? So what does SHTF look like? It's all skills can play. Are there some skills that are more valuable than others? Yes, absolutely. But all skills will play. But the point is to have your useful skills and then use them to the betterment of the community that you are in or the group of people you are around or whatever. Key word here is contribute. You have to contribute to the people around you. And amazingly, because it's a push-pull, you have to give without the expectation of receiving. And you also need to understand if at any point you need to receive, that you've given enough of yourself that nobody will question about whether or not they should give to you in return. It's positions of strength. We preach this all the time on Patreon, is operate from positions of strength. That your word is infallible, that your contribution is unquestionable, right? And can it be exhausting? Yeah, it can be exhausting, but you're gonna need that context with people after the fact. When you need help, they don't have to think about whether or not they're gonna help you. It's a no-brainer. Hell yeah, I'll be there, man. What do you need? All the times you've done for me? Yeah, absolutely. I'll be there. Be there. That's why I'm headed to the direction I'm headed right now, to go do this thing. Is it business? Yeah, but it's also personal, because this person needs help, and they've helped me many a time. So you need to have the skills and you need to use them. No, do favors. And what do I mean by do favors? The way a community does favors for each other. Like, hey, this guy bought a piece of land, it's wooded, he's got no place to put his camper trailer on it. What should we do? What do you mean, what should we do? Rally the troops, get the chainsaws, let's go clear him a hole so he can park his camper. A few hours later, room to park the camper. And the dichotomy there is The dichotomy there is, by doing that, by strengthening the individual with the understanding that the individual will contribute back to the tribe, back to the whole, we're actually strengthening the whole, because we're bringing that one person up into a better position of strength, which allows all of us to operate from a better position of strength. Okay? It's very push-pull. You have to be selfish so you can get good, so you can be selfless to get everybody else around you good. And then lastly, I'd say, to that end, build context with people. By doing those hard things with people, right? Accomplishing goals that seem unattainable with other people. They know, hey man, what do you think about Bob? Oh, Bob is stellar, dude. There was this one time we were running fence and I didn't think we'd ever get it done. And then Bob showed up, and man, I've never seen anybody pound more T-posts than Bob in my life. And he did it the whole time with a smile on his face. No shit. Yeah, really. Bob's the bomb, man. All right, cool. Can we invite him? Yeah, invite him. Yeah, bring Bob, right? Your reputation should precede you in a good way. People should know, because of the context you're building with people, people should know, hey man, if you're involved, it's gonna go well. We want this guy involved. He doesn't complain, he doesn't waste time, he's not, over there twiddling his thumbs, watching other people work. He gets it done. So staying on good terms with people before, during, after SHTF, man, be a good neighbor. Be a good neighbor. In the keenest sense of the word, the way that 100 years ago, neighbors were required to be with each other because we really needed to depend on each other. That if things got sideways at my homestead, It could be a life or death situation, and good neighbors are a stopgap measure in between me and chaos. Okay? So be a good neighbor. Do hard things with people without expecting anything in return, knowing that if you ever need to ask, they couldn't possibly say no. Right? Conduct yourself with honesty and integrity. If you make a mistake, admit it. Admit it to everybody. Yeah, I messed up, man. That was my bad. Right? So that's my take on that, man. It's about being a high value person. And people are drawn to other high value people. Operate from positions of strength, and you can't help but make everybody else around you better because of how good you are. So with that, shalom.